Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. It is Monday. Happy Monday morning to you. I hope that your morning is going well. My morning, as you can see, is going wonderfully. This is actually the weekend. This is like how our weekends start out. Start out by sitting outside. It's like one of the, in the springtime in Florida is like, reminds me of the fall time in the mountains where it's like brisk and clear and just great out. It's nice and it's like a little chill in the morning, but the sun comes out and it's pretty warm outside. So we're sitting outside here having some coffee. Maxine's out here. She's watching for those squirrels. You know how she goes after those squirrels. They're pretty smart. But she's just protecting us, keeping us safe. Thank goodness it's not bears. Now it's just squirrels and birds. She has to watch out. So this is how we typically start our day. We get up and got to sleep in a little bit today and then just come outside and like to sit and soak up some sunshine, talk about our day, see what we're going to do. And it's good. And then today we're going to start on projects. We have so many odd and end projects to take care of. So we've been doing, we moved in a year ago and like doing projects and things. It's like, we haven't done everything at all. Like our last house, people are like, your last house was so much better. But I said, but yeah, it took me like a long time to get to that point. I had to do a lot of painting, a lot of renovating, a lot of moving things around, a lot of trying to figure out how I want my home to be before I got it to look the way that I want it to look. So this house is the same way. So we are doing it slowly, because time frame and time and life, and there's not a whole lot to extra in my days, and that's quite all right. I've learned to embrace that. And so we're our backyard. We love being out in our backyard. One thing we do is we come sit out by the pool, obviously, most days, and we have some brown chairs that we took from our mountain house. And so these were good in the mountains. I mean, they lasted and they were great, but they are starting to wear down in Florida because of the salty air and it like ruins things, it rusts things, and it doesn't do very good. So I've been like looking at different things to replace in the backyard here. And I knew that they were going to have to be more plastic versus the wood. We even got like the metal table. And I can't believe the amount of rust on the table. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, we lived in the mountains, had a table outside for probably 5 years. And like, there's not a single ounce of rust on it. And it rains all the time in the mountains. So I was very surprised to see like one season, just a few months, because we got our tables at the end of the year, how like rusted and corroded our tabletops are. I'm like, wow, I definitely will be rethinking, like just not knowing. Obviously we're new here, and just like what the salt air does to your things outside pretty much ruins them. And some people tell me that. I'm like, no, surely you don't know what it'll do that, because the mountains, it rains all the time. But no, you are right. And that's okay. That's okay. We got our tables cheap. I figured if they lasted a season, then great. And if not, no big deal. So we're looking for some lounger chairs. So I got these ones because the girls like to go sit outside. I mean, I like to sit on the side in the sun too, right across the pool, and relax. And so we, the metal ones were good. Pain in the butt to put together. Oh my goodness. I'm just about ready to pull your hair out when you start putting the old ones together, because there's screws and Allen wrenches, and they were like no fun. We took them all apart to move here and put them together when we moved here, and I was like, oh my goodness. So I got these. They sat in my living room forever, and I'm like, okay, I just need to go out and tackle and do these. So I did, and I was like, wow, that actually went so quick because there's no screws. There's no anything. It's just pushed together and it clicks into place. So I was very, very happy with the way they go together. And they're like heavy duty and strong, which was awesome. And so I'm like, that made the experience so much better, because I don't mind putting stuff together with screws and all that stuff. I'm like, I can do that. I've done a million things like that. But I'm like, but when you have something that is just like push it together and you're like, wow, that's like all you have to do and it's good. I'm like, okay, that's a winner all around. So I'm like, so we have 4 chairs in the back here behind our house. And so I wanted to get 4 replacement ones. The ones in the price wise, I paid a lot of money. I think I paid almost, I don't even know. The brown ones were a lot more. They were double the price because they're more metal, and I thought they'd last longer. No, they actually didn't. So we got these instead. So it's going to be good. We'll be able to sit outside and not worry about it and just enjoy relaxing out there. And doing these projects like this reminds me, and this is my encouragement to you today. I think of like doing things like this stuff was one of those things where I was like dreading doing it. I don't know why. I usually like putting everything together, but it's like I had a busy week and I was just like, sometimes life feels overwhelming, and it does, and it happens to everybody. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go. We were out for the day. And then I came back and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go outside. I'm going to put it together. I put on my praise and worship music, had my playlist going, and I'm just going to do it. And I thought of the scripture, and it's in Colossians 3:17 that says, and whatever you do, in word or deed, do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God, the Father, through him. And I thought about that a lot, just doing projects like this, because it's time consuming. And in my head, I was setting myself up for like, all the screws and things like I had to do in the brown ones. And I was like, okay, I can do these things. I can do all these things. It'll be great. But I came out and I was like, let me put my praise and worship on and get your mindset in a good way. And let's just put these together. And then, you know what? I opened it up and I was like, wow, so simple to put together. So I was very, very happy. It just makes those it just takes that burden of craziness out. So when you're doing things, think of them, okay, I'm doing this unto the Lord. Put these chairs together as unto the Lord. It's anything. It's making dinner as unto the Lord, giving thanks to him. And I think of that a lot in our life because we get in that humdrum of putting, dishes and the everyday chores that everybody has to do every single day in and day out. And they don't seem exciting and you want to be drudgery. But if you just kind of change it and go, okay, Lord, thank you that I get the opportunity to do this here today. And then you do it, it changes everything. Here's a little close-up of the chairs. You can see we had two that were older. They're it's almost like it just wore off the top layer of it. They're a little wobbly too. The screws, I don't know, they rusted because, outside. So I was like, let me pass these. We did pass them along to somebody that would benefit and maybe has a closed area. We just do not. So the two were kind of all not the best. The other two weren't as bad, but I knew they would be bad after this year because we bought two and then a year later we bought two more. And so I am just taking them over here and then we got a home for them. And then I was able to put these other ones. Maxine is like my sidekick all day long. Wherever I'm at, she's at. I'm like, Maxine, go sit with a child. Go do somebody that's in the house. But she's like, I'm just going to follow you around everywhere you go. So these are great. Just take them outside here. We thought maybe eventually we could, because it is like plastic, hard plastic sitting on it, which is fine. Great, that's what I need. But we could get some cushions for them. I know Walmart sells some cushions. So I thought, well, maybe eventually we can put that on there and, use that for a little bit more comfort sitting there. But for it's good. It's really good. I'm like, for what we have, what we spent, I'm like, definitely way better. And so they're more of a, we have these white chairs by the pool here. It's more of a washed white, almost like gray. Here's the top. You see that? I didn't put the end piece in all the way. It didn't click in, so I had to fix it. More like a gray. I want to say a whitewashed gray, almost color. But it's great. So I'm like, yeah, let me test them out. So I love them. It's nice and comfy. They had different, I'm like, let me just soak up the sunshine. I wanted to see the different levels and how it is. I'm like, oh yeah, it's definitely a good thing. I'm like, I could have sat out here. I want to make sure both ways were good. But I love looking out the window and seeing the girls out there and just chilling and relaxing. It's good. And you can just hose them off because that pollen comes and it gets messy. So those are great. I'm very happy to get those done. And we had this high wind weekend here that we had, so our pizza oven blew across the back patio here. So I was just kind of moving everything back into place of where it needs to go. Anybody else have issues with their covers that go over the girls? These weren't made specifically for these because, we got generic ones. But they have those little things at the bottom, you pull them. But one of them doesn't. It's more like Velcro. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So I'm constantly coming outside when the winds are blowing and trying to fix it. I usually stick it under the wheel to kind of help it so it doesn't blow off. But yes, those are not my favorite. But it's better to keep them covered because last year I uncovered a lot of them and I realized, wow, no, the rain does ruin it and the salty air does ruin it. So keeping everything covered is a good thing. There's our chairs. I think they look a whole lot better. All the kids even came down. They looked out the back. They're like, oh, wow, Mom, chairs so much better than the brown ones. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Our last house was our house was brown and tan color. So that is most of the stuff that we had. So we need to kind of switch over to grays and whites, things like that match a little bit better. These are great. Look, it just the adjustable back. Definitely happy and loving these. And then if you see a different outfit, this is filmed over a few days, so I had to piece this video together. The magic part of video editing, but I'm wearing a different outfit, so it didn't work. Breakfast for the weekend. And so I had some eggs and I had that thick Texas toast. I don't even know if I filmed that when I went shopping, but I bought some. I think it was right at Easter. And I'm like, why don't I make some French toast? We haven't had that in a long time. So over in my sink, I'm thawing some of the hamburger, because it was like spur of the moment, what are we going to have for breakfast? So I thought, let me use up the last bit of eggs that I had. I think I had 12 or 13 eggs, and use some milk here and cinnamon. And then I got out our bread and I'm like, let me just make French toast here. And then I had to realize this pan, I have two pans. One, this is like a chicken fryer, and the other one's more like the frying pan. And for whatever reason, I grabbed the chicken fryer versus the frying pan. So it was kind of like at an angle most of the time. I'm like, what did I do? But it's okay. Whatever pan works for you. I like cooking the pan, it cooks faster. The griddle works, but it just takes longer to cook on. So I'm like, just want to get her done. Whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? It's like fast, quick, fast. And the sausage is so good. This is that sausage we made with the ground turkey. Yeah, it makes it taste just like I'm going to say a McDonald's sausage patty. Like when you go to McDonald's, it's not like full sausage tasting. It's got like a little bit more, I don't know what the taste would be, but that's how we like having them. So I found my gloves. Remember, I bought those gloves. I've been waiting to, someone said, get gloves. I'm like, I forget. Gloves make meat preparation so much better. So, but my hands were wet, so I had a hard time getting them on, but I got them on. So I'm just making small little patties here. Some of them were frozen a little bit in there, but I'm like, it works. So we had these. These were good. And it's like one of those things, we had French toast forever. Like we used to eat so much French toast, just like everything else. So many breakfast burritos. We have a large family, so you eat all that stuff over and over and over again. But the French toast we haven't had for a long time. So it was one of those things, I made it once and they're like, yeah, we're tired of French toast. So then I stopped making it. Well, then this time it was like, everyone's like, I haven't had French toast forever. This is so, so good. So it was a good thing to have. I used to make mine. Tell me what you do, because if you just put it in the pan, obviously you need some kind of oil to kind of fry it up. I had a little bit of canola oil. That's what I used in here. I don't think olive oil would be very good, but I could be totally wrong because of the taste. I used to use grapeseed oil. I think Walmart used to sell a big jug of it, but I haven't seen it there in a long time. And then I started using coconut oil, but I feel like it absorbs more into it and makes it more soft. That's just what I found to do. So what kind of oil do you use to fry your French toast in? This worked out so good. It was going really quick. Nice morning. Like I said, I had no sound because I'm listening to my praise and worship music. I actually had the fan on up above so I could, suck out all the smell from the sausage because you have to. When I normally film, I don't turn that on because it's like way too loud for you guys. So these were good. I was just smashing them down, cooking away. Easy breakfast. This lasted us. Made this would have been Saturday morning and then Sunday as well. And I still had some left over for Monday morning. Meat thermometer. Get yourself a meat thermometer. Like, that was good tasting stuff. It was delicious. I don't usually like sausage. I really don't. But I was like, wow, that's very tasty. So my kids like this kind way better than real kind. So I was happy with the way everything turned out. I got this idea. I'm like, here, there's grease all on the bottom of the pan from the sausage. So why don't I put some French toast in here? Well, then I stepped out to the garage and was talking to Greg out there. And what had happened? It burned. I'm like, no. So I had a few pieces. I'm like, it's good. It just cooked a lot faster than the other one. I'm like, you know what? It's fine. I don't mind burnt tasting things. I really don't. So some people are like, that's gross. I'm like, give me the burnt piece. I'll eat it. So I did, but I had to laugh. I'm like, oh, definitely use that grease. Let's use it up. Meanwhile, I got distracted and it burned it, but it was yummy. So I didn't use that pan anymore. I'm like, nope, we're going to go back to the one that is good. And here I am. Does anybody else eat their French toast with ketchup? Anybody? I grew up eating it with ketchup. Ketchup, syrup for the other one. You have one savory, one sweet. It was yummy. Delicious. All right. now we are on to something I haven't done again all week is my bathroom. I put this room off for a few weeks now. I know I'm like, I don't even know why. It became like a difficult task for me to keep this clean in here, but it did, and that's okay. You know what? Grace to yourself when life gets busy, and it's one of those things nobody goes into my bathroom but my husband and I, so it's no big deal. But I'm like, I'm going to get in here and get it done. It's like one of those things. It's like the task of putting things together. Let's just get it done and do it. So our bathroom cabinet, it's one of those things that we just keep throwing things into. And I'm like, let me do a little bit of organization to the best of my ability. I keep most all the staples down here, and then we transport them to each bathroom. It's just easier to have a central location, I've always found. And then like here, move it to, you know, like usually I think Maddie, that's one of her jobs. She likes to organize and restock. So she takes and makes sure everybody has toilet paper and mouthwash and Q-tips and flossers and toothpaste and shampoo and, you know, hygiene products for women. And so she likes to do that, getting those things like put in the bathroom. She usually checks that to make sure none of us run out of that kind of stuff for the day or the week. There's nothing worse than going to the bathroom and having, you know, no toilet paper. It's always the worst. And I had 2 bottles here. We have this Mr. Clean. I bought this before we moved, and I still have some. I think it was $4 or $5 for this huge jug of this. I had 2 of them. And I'm like, oh, I'll get it. And we'll clean the house with it, the new house, all those things. Well, we are still using it because I'll grab vinegar or something, or it's how the kids clean things. They like to use it with paper towels. And I'm like, if everybody's doing a bathroom, and I'm not going to complain what products they use. So I've been using that too. So I like using a magic eraser sometimes. I was scrubbing it because, you know, hairspray gets all over the vanity. And so using the magic eraser just takes it out real quick. And just spraying it down. It's one of those things I'm like, okay, again, I left this forever. And I'm like, it's good. But if I want to model a good behavior for my children, I got to clean my bathroom and my bedroom as well. And they know life, and I give them grace. Their rooms aren't spotless, but I'm like, okay, you want to clean that up, or you want to do that, but I'm like, okay, but I need to do the same thing in my own area. So usually I just use vinegar. This I use my Norwex cloth. And we just use water. It's my one friend, Heather. She sells it in greatest thing because you never use Windex. You never have to use anything. These windows, they used like Windex on them, and I could tell because when we moved in, they were foggy after a while. And so it takes a few times to kind of wipe it, the film from the chemicals in the window cleaner. And so it's almost like a detox for your mirror. So I had to wipe it down a few times with the Norwex cloth and then the regular one to get it where it just wipes off really easy. But that's what I do. I'm like, that works in toilet. I'm just spraying away, cleaning the floor real good, wiping it by hand. We usually steam mop it, but you know, a good hand scrub is always a good thing. Nothing wrong with getting on your hands and knees and cleaning your floor. And so cleaning the bathroom, cleaning the toilet, I used to always just use a rag and cleaner. That's it. That's how I've always cleaned my bathrooms. But now that I have nails and I get my nails done, I find that stuff gets stuck in the back of your nails. So that's why I use a toilet brush now and don't touch too much of the toilet water. And that's okay. You can do it with your hands. I've had a lot of people's, that's how I clean, good old fashioned hand cleaning your toilet. And I'm like, exactly, just wash your hands afterwards. But now that I have the nails that I get done, it's like you just can't keep your hands as clean because stuff gets stuck on those nails sometimes. And then same thing, the tub here. We don't use this as much as I thought we would, but we have a pool to go into every day. So it's like we don't really use the tub back in the mountains. I would have loved to have a huge garden tub like this, but the pool was, you know, we can only use it during the season. And it was much colder, and so it's nice to have in the pool so it can be heated and we can use it pretty much, well, we did use it all year round, so we don't usually use this bathtub. And then in my shower here, I use a Scrub Daddy because it's got the abrasive part, and then this is just a Norwex cleaner. And I just put it on here and scrub it off. It keeps it nice and clean. And then what I have been doing, every single day I get it out of the shower and I just take the sprayer and I spray with water and just kind of rub it with my hands, the glass. And it doesn't leave spots. It doesn't look yucky. And I'm like, okay, if I just did this every single time I get out of the shower, I'm like, this would stay a whole lot cleaner. Because showers are one of those tasks that you're like, oh, I don't want to have to do. And I used to keep a sink scrubber, like those little scrubbers, and then put dish soap in it and vinegar and just scrub when I was in there. And that works too. I probably could do that again. But this works really good. This is just go through. It's been a few weeks since I did this. Go through and scrub everything. But now that I've been just rinsing off the glass every single day, I'm like, maybe I won't have to do this anymore. I mean, like where it's like, oh, it looks so bad because glass gets spotty. It gets like yucky real quick. I feel like it's like shower complete. Doesn't it feel good to get your showers clean? I know it does for me. Having that done, it seems like it's been real messy in here for the longest time. And I'm like, okay, I just need to get her done. And then pick up the hair. I know I'm getting older. Hair falls out a whole bunch more. So just grabbing that and picking it up. And then I just wiped. I used a paper towel to wipe it down. Usually I use my Norwex cloth. Paper towel was good to dry it for the most part. And then I take a little spray bottle of bleach and spray around the corners and the cracks and under the door just to prevent any mold growth anywhere. I just let that sit. By the next time we take a shower, it rinses off. So this was good. I'm like, okay, I got what I needed to get done from my bathroom. Makes you feel a whole lot better. Sneezing. Bless me. I have like hair on the floor. Anybody else? Getting older, hair falls out a whole lot more. So there's constantly hair on the floor, I feel like. Especially having longer hair. And we have girls, same thing. Used to be. I noticed it so much more in our mountain house, but it's not too bad here. I feel like the girls keep their mess upstairs. Mine's in here. So I'm just wiping everything down, doing it by hand because it gets in the corners really good. Vacuum's too good. And look at Maxine. She's literally like in my closet. Like, where are you at? She's got to stay right by me. I'm like, Maxine. So I was glad to get this done. Put a few towels out. We love having our towels on here. So I just grabbed them out of the shower. I'm like, this is good. Grab my music, coming out. And I did my laundry too. I was feeling uber successful this day because these are things that I've been putting off forever. Anybody else? Or just me? No, I know it happens. It's like I felt so behind, but this day I was feeling great because I was getting projects done. I was getting my normal everyday tasks done. So it was a good thing. I hang up on my dresses and clothes. Anybody else do that? This is just me. I hang up. I don't know why. I don't put them in the dryer. There's very rare that I'll put something in the dryer unless I have to. Okay, then we're on to another project. This was we got side tables for our bedroom. Real fast, look at this. They label each big piece with a picture now. Remember how they barely put a letter on it, you can never find it? They have these big giant stickers on things now. I'm like, this makes it so much more better. I started using their little screwdriver, and I was like, nope, forget it. Let me go get my DeWalt screwdriver. Way better. So our bedroom, we moved in. Our nightstands ended up going to, like, again, not seeing the house, not knowing the layout. So I didn't really know what we were going to do in our bedroom and all that stuff. So we had a whole bedroom set, like a nightstands and end table, or the side tables, and we had dressers. So the dressers went to the kids upstairs in their bedroom, and the nightstands went in there because it matched the tables. And I'm like, well, we'll just get some new ones. Well, then I got some on Amazon. And again, moving in, it was crazy. It was like a blur. I feel like it was a blur of light because we had so much going on. I mean, moving out of state, for one, is huge. Just a lot of changes, a lot going on, and learning a new area, all these things, trying to set your house up. It can get straight crazy stressful. So I just ordered some. And then when I put them next to the bed, I'm like, oh, they're way smaller. And I'm like, ugh. And okay, meanwhile, it was tons of pieces. End tables are. So it took a lot of time. And all I could think of was, I don't want to take these all apart and put them in the box to ship them back because you could return it. So I was like, you know what? And Greg's like, honey, it's fine. Just deal with it. It'll be fine. I'll use it. But it was such a small tabletop. And so I'm like, it's all good. Well, I knew eventually they can go up to the boys' room because it matches the furniture in there. So I knew that we would eventually put it somewhere else. But I was like, okay. So this is, again, another thing that shows up in the mail. So I'm like, let me work on putting it together. And it was one of those where it took some time, lots of pieces. It was at nighttime or later in the day. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna put my praise and worship on, which I did, and just start putting it together. And it did. It went together so easy, great quality, great stuff. And I was very happy with everything. So we like these a whole lot in our bedroom. Again, just learning. Greg came home. So he's like, here, let me help you, babe. And so I think I had everything good. There was only I think I had one piece that was the drawer sliders. I just put one of those upside down long. But for everything else, it was like, it went together so well. So I was very happy. So we were doing them together. Here, I was switching the sliders upside down because I'm heading back. He was doing some of the table. I was doing some of the floor. And it went together real quick. It took a few hours. I mean, real quick. A few hours, I say. It helps. It always helps having somebody else help you. But if you don't, you can still get it done yourself. And I'm like, either way, you'll be able to do it. So I was really glad. Just good quality and everything. They're up in their games on all these pieces of furniture put together. Like over the years, I was telling Greg, I think of way back in the beginning, all the wood they used to put on the back of bookshelves and all your put together furniture was so flimsy. and terrible, and you would nail it on, the nail would go through the wood. I'm like, now they have like little triangle pieces that stick on the back that you can just like screw in, and like it holds the back on so well. I'm like, so much better. It's just like construction has gotten so much better over the years. They're definitely upping their game on it. So we had a good time putting these together. I was glad. I don't like putting doors on, so I was glad he was doing that. I can do it, but I'm like always like, okay. So again, it's one of those, is do one of those things as unto the Lord. Heartily as unto the Lord. Keep reminding yourself when you got those hard projects. And if you got those and it's hard, you know what? You just do it. You do it for a little bit, and then you take a break and you can come back to it later. That's what I always say. I'm like, I can get some of that. My plan was to get some of this done. Great. And if I got all of it done, even better. So then when Greg came home, I was like, okay, that's so much better. This was actually to start out our weekend. We actually did this at nighttime. The kids were out and they were doing their own thing. And so we spent the evening put together furniture for the bedroom. It's like date day. Let's put these together. It worked. Next thing, she got a little hedgehog. Isn't it funny? Like, do dogs, like I have a bunch of toys for her. She plays with like pretty much the same one. She likes her bacon ball and she likes this big giant hedgehog. And that's about it. She'll go after like if the kids have a stuffy or whatever, but not to actually keep for like her long-term play. It's usually this big giant hedgehog and then her little bacon ball. I guess they stick to what's familiar and what they like. There it is. And this is the next day. I'm like, okay, finally. So I wanted to get our bed washed. Earlier this day we had to leave again. So I had our top of our bedding. I had bleached the cover. And so I'm like, let me wash the whole bedding. And then switch, you know what, might as well flip our mattress pad around. Or not mattress, the mattress topper. So I did. And here I am emptying my little nightstand. I don't keep a whole lot in there, but it just simplified. And the lamp, I took them out. I wasn't going to put the lamps back in, but I ended up using them because I do like them. So just clean out Greg's side, clean up my side, and took them up to the kitchen there. And I just wiped them down so we could take them up to the boys' room. They were very happy to have them because they had plugs in the top next to their bed. I'm like, they liked it. I'm like, they're like, okay, this is good. And this is another thing. I cleaned my bathroom the night before here. And so I'm like, let me do my bedroom today. So I'm just going to vacuum the floor really good. We have weird shapes in our room here for walls, like where to put our bed. We had it over on the wall to the left here, where like the chairs are when we moved in because it fit. But I just didn't, I feel like it was very good. So we stuck it over here and I'm like, I like this because right across from our bed is a place to put a TV on the wall. See my runners pop? I keep that under my bed. That's mom's stash. Anyway, so across from here is an outlet for a TV to go on the wall. Like it's got a cutout, it's got everything. So I think our bed at this wall will be a good place to have it. Just didn't know the setup, how we wanted to do things. Again, moved in. It's more like, let's just get in and we'll figure things out later. I mean, I haven't even painted. The walls are still all the same color. But these are so great. Oh my goodness, I was so happy with these nightstands. They fit together so great in there. We had to put them up against the wall, move the bed over, but I'm like, it wasn't a big deal. I was thinking it would stick out too far, but it actually wasn't bad at all. So these, I think, work so good. We have similar style furniture upstairs, and so I'm looking, they got LED lights. Okay, so I'm not real big on LED lights. I'm like, whatever, but they're like motion sensitive. So when you walk up to them, they like turn on. I'm like, ooh. That's kind of a nice feature. So during the night, it's not a bright light. It comes on with, I usually keep it on like the blue cool one. And so it actually is very, very nice. I tell Greg, I said, I'm not big on the whole LED, but this is actually really good. It has a wireless charger, which is awesome. So my phone wireless charges, and then it has the 2 plugs. I'm not sure what the one, like the smaller USB-C and then whatever the other one is. I just can't remember which kind. So we had to do some figuring out how we were going to do cords based on what we have to plug in to our bed at night. So I had to go to my child that had extra cords because I don't have a lot of extra cords. I don't keep things, but I do have children that do. So I didn't put a whole lot in the drawers because you know what? Eventually I will put some in there. So I have a stand for my phone in here. It's folded in there. I keep a spray in here. It's a really good smelling spray. I spray it in our bed after, like, I pull the sheets back and spray it on there. Like a deodorizing spray. It's like an essential oil. And then I have my chapstick in here, my Burt's Bees. And that's all I keep next to my bed. Maybe eventually I'll keep more. I keep my Bible like out in the living room. I work up at my office, so I don't really keep a whole lot in here. I'm sure over time I will. This is our alarm clock. I love this alarm clock. We got these, I don't know, when we first moved in here. They're great because it projects on the wall. I was kind of like, no big deal. It is the greatest thing ever because when you're laying in bed, you literally just open your eyes and boom, there is the time projected on the wall. So in mine, look at Werner's. and Cheetos. This is my Easter basket stuff. And the chocolate covered blueberry. So that's all I put in mine, and Kleenexes. That's all I really keep. I don't keep a whole lot in mine. I kept my extra cords in here because I wasn't sure. I didn't want to get rid of them because I have the wireless charger in here now, so I can just charge my phone easily. So I just stuck them underneath to figure out, do I need this or what do I need to do? The cord was bad. So I wasn't sure if it was the cord port, but it ended up being the cord for the alarm clock. So I was messing with it. I put it up on a Kleenex box and then it worked. So I'm like, okay, it's got to be the cord. Autumn was the one that had the extra cord. So she actually gave me one and it worked awesome. So I love this alarm clock. It is my favorite. Project on the wall. Genius idea. It's like it can be real light or it can be real bright. And so love that. Absolutely love that. So my phone was charged on the charger and I have my earbuds here. I don't really keep a whole lot next to my bed. That's it. Simple. I'm sure I could put more in time. I have a lint roller that I use if there's like hair from Maxine. Here's her little steps. I ended up putting them on the side and then I moved them. But this was good. I was like, this makes me happy. And Greg's, I was like, I know he'll eventually put all his stuff in here. And then I put the lamp on there. So the lamp, Maxine's like, can we stop working? The one lamp I broke. So this worked good here. I'm talking, I know I said. The lamp broke. I had hit it and the glass, it was just hanging. So I was just going to get rid of it. And then I'm like, you know what? Surely I can glue this on. So here I am getting my Gorilla Glue. And the lid had been, glued on. And so it was all hard. So I took a drill, take a screw and drill it in all the way. It'll like break that, and then it worked. So I was taking Gorilla Glue and just squeezing it around the whole top of this. I'm like, surely it'll hold. And then I'm setting it in. It was like, yeah, to put this in here just right. I even used a couple toothpicks, broke them and put them inside because something obviously broke off a piece of plastic or something, and it held. So I was just like, I mean, I know there's probably a better way to do this, but I'm like, this will work. Surely it'll work. And then I needed to hold it upside down so that it can get hard because Gorilla Glue isn't instant. And so I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and hold this forever. I'm like, how am I going to make this work? And then I was trying to like push it. It seemed like it kept popping out and I wanted to make sure it was right. It was a little bit of a struggle. And I'm like, okay, so I just sit here and hold this for the next half hour? I'm like, no, glue, just glue everything. So I'm mad. I'm like, where am I going to put this? So I ended up sticking it over. I was walking by carrying it. I'm like, ooh, right next to the popcorn machine, I've got a huge jug of butter. I can literally set it in there and it will hold it up on that angle. I'm like, that works. You got to figure out what you're going to do. I just want to make sure it works. And it did. I just wanted to make sure it was seated in there very well. I hate the Gorilla Glue on my fingers. So as I was walking by, I'm like, here, let me stick it over here. So I got it sitting over there so it can harden. And it did. I was very, very shocked and amazed. So I'm going to vacuum the rest of my floor here, get this all cleaned up. It's the only room in the house that has carpet, is our bedroom. I don't like carpet at all. Anybody else not like carpet? I do not. I thought for a while, I was like, oh, this is nice having the fluffy carpet. I don't like it. I would much rather have tile, something different, wood, anything but carpet. So I'm sure we will eventually trade this out. And then we have the vacuum. I put it in here. This is our robot vacuum for the floors downstairs. But I picked it up and sometimes it gets little crumbs and stuff in the bottom. So I was vacuuming it out and I pulled it out in the bag. There was a bunch of stuff stuck in there. So I was like, well, let me go clean this out. So I did. And then sucking around it because it does get stuff. And then my bathroom floor to pick up any hair. And we have one little piece of carpet in our closet too. So again, we have like that. And then I think in the hallway, there's a little bit more carpeted area and that's it. And then I'm looking at these pictures in the ground. And I'm like, I completely forgot, or I didn't forget. We never did anything with them. We bought them I'll show you in a minute. I bought them at Hobby Lobby because they were on clearance, but we never put them up anywhere. So I was like, I need to do something with this. See how the lights on the thing came on when I walked by? Pretty cool. I thought it was very cool. And I want to make my bed because that got all washed and cleaned and good. I had hung the mattress protector outside because it was bright sun, so it can kind of bleach and get all white again. Because it gets dingy with life. And putting this on. Always nice to have a freshly made bed. We had a blanket at the end of the bed, but now that it's pretty warm, we don't need it all. This is plenty warm for us to sleep with at night. Kind of, I feel like it's summertime, but it's only springtime. The top thing, it seems to shrink a little bit because I do put it in the dryer. So I'm like, it used to fit completely. Our bed is real tall, so it's like I need a longer, like bed top or whatever you want to call it, bed sheet or quilt, comforter, whatever you want to call it. But I'm like, well, maybe it'll start shrinking. I'll have to eventually do it. was climbing behind the bed here because I wanted to plug in the lamp. There's the lamp, I put it in there. And then there's the new cord. Thank goodness for children that keep everything, because their mommy does not. So I was glad my light worked. So that worked out so good. And then the alarm clock worked. So I was so happy. So here's the pictures. I was like, this wall right here in the bathroom, again, we have to redo, paint everything. They had some shelves on there and they're kind of rusty. I didn't really like the look they had in there. And so I just pulled those off. Well, it left huge holes in the wall. And so in reality, I'm like, oh, whatever. Eventually I'll get something on there. Well, I haven't gotten anything because I'm just not there yet for decorating. We did some of the house, but not all the areas of the house. So I have these 2 pictures. I'm like, let me just drill a hole in the wall and stick this. Surely it's better than having the big giant holes. So the pictures are exactly the same. For whatever reason, I was thinking they were different prints, but they weren't. So they're the same. So I'm like, let me just flip it upside down. I don't know. I know it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be good, but to me, it's better than the 4 holes in the wall. I'm like, good enough, better than nothing. This is another thing we had sitting around the house is a new trash can. We remember we had that big giant outdoor one inside our kitchen. It's brown. Again, you get it because it fits all the trash. The smaller one, I had a metal one back in the mountains and it was round and it worked for what we had, but we're using so much more trash here. I know, sorry. So I got I wanted to trade and upgrade our trash can. So I had the brown one was fine. It just doesn't match anything in the kitchen. And so they didn't have gray, so you're limited to it. So I got this Echo one here on the right. I looked at them and it was open and I read it and I'm like, it was all like industrial. This is all closed and I was showing you. So I'm like, surely that'll be really good. So but I didn't know. So I put it in the kitchen. I'm like, let me see if we'll like it open. And if we don't, I'll get the one that I ended up getting and I'll put this one outside because we need one in the garage as well. So I just, again, it was all trial and error. I bought one at a time, waited and got the other one later. So this is the motion sensor one. And I did think I'd like it. I was like, no, I'm not going to like having the motion sensor. I like the motion sensor. It opens up perfectly, exactly when I need it. You can push the button. It's battery operated. I'm like, this works so good. I was like, why is it not turning on? I had to put batteries in it and turn the button on in the back. And it's a little bit bigger than the one on the right. The one on the right, we had some trash in there. We picked it up and it was leaking all over the floor. And I'm like, what happened? And I realized that the trash had holes in the bottom too, like for rain and stuff. So that one on the right is more for outdoors, which it worked out good. I think I was going to show you, there was a deodorizing spot. So you can put a little deodorizing pack in there so your trash didn't stink. Genius. Great. And this works for us. We've been using this for a little while and we absolutely like it. So I'm like, let me look up instructions. You can either push it and turn it on or push it and shut it or just come over and do the sensor. So I had to figure out which button was on, which one is off. So awesome. So I'm loving that. That's definitely great. So that worked out good. The other one we ended up putting outside, even having it open. We had to open one up there last year, but it was a lot thinner and flimsier. So these are definitely heavier duty kind. And then the bottom, see the holes? That was where all the milk, I know, disgusting. I don't even know how the milk spilled outside the bag, but it did. And it got all over the kitchen. I was like, oh, not good. So this, I ended up sticking over here by the door and I waited to ask Greg, which one do you guys want in the garage? Which one do we want outside? So he wanted the brown one in the garage and this one outside. And it worked out perfect. So this is good for all our extras. It was gorgeous. I was showing you the bright blue sunshiny day. It was so nice outside. Oh, see, I'm out of sequence with my video clips. There's the bedding. And then these are mango seeds, like pits. Remember I told you we had someone give us some rare mangoes, and they were so good. So good. They said they're like a better quality, like more expensive if you went to the store and buy them than regular mangoes, and they were delicious. So they said just take the pit and cut out the seeds. So on a video on YouTube, they said to dry it, blah, blah, blah. I did. The first one we did. And then Greg just cut it with clippers and got it out really easy. So these ones I just needed to get it done and cut them out with scissors and it worked. So I put them inside wrapped them in a wet paper towel and put them in a plastic bag and then just stuck them like on the shelf. And then they were sprouting already. So I need to go to the store and get some dirt and little pots we can plant these. So we have, I think there's 4 or 5 seeds. So we'll see. They're supposed to be really good. They're like nice, good things. We're going to try our hand at this stuff. We're going to try. So when we're on to dinner for tonight. So what I'm going to do for dinner tonight is burrito bowls because I have those 2 boxes that I bought at the discount store to do burrito bowls. They're delicious, yummy. It's basically taco seasoning in a box. I think I got them, I don't know, $1.50. Yes, you can make your own. I was like, oh, it brought back like good time memories. We eat these a whole lot in the mountain house. So I'm like, you know what? It's cheap. I'll get it. And for the price, you get like a whole packet of queso inside as well as the taco seasoning and the rice. So I'm like, it's still a deal. So it was good. So all I did was put this morning, I put some of those. Remember, I got the stew meat because that's all Sam's Club had. I put that in the slow cooker this morning on high, and then I put 2 packages of the taco mix inside there, and then just cooked it with a little bit of water and just let that cook for most of the morning. And then I just cut with scissors the meat into smaller pieces, and then it's nice and tender and nice and soft. And then in my refrigerator, I had some turkey meat, taco meat. We had tacos this week, and so all I did is set that, and I took out most of the liquid from the slow cooker, and then put the taco meat in there with it. So then it's just heated up, so you can have either one. Because I'm like me, the meat, so not everybody likes the stew meat. So I'm like, that's good for the base. Sometimes I add beans to it, but I'm like, this is good. And there's like plenty of food right in there. That is going to be part of our base. And then I made up the rice. It's cilantro lime rice, so I've got that right here. I even have a little bit of the regular rice from our tacos. I think it was on this a few days ago, so we can have that. And then I cutting up lettuce, having lettuce with it, and I've got shredded cheese still. And then we like our little toppings here. It's the queso blanco sauce. We like that one. There's some taco sauce and sour cream. Yummy, delicious. If you want to put salsa on it, you can. This is an easy dinner, easy Monday dinner. This works great for me. Everybody likes it all around. Winner all around. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Lots of projects to get accomplished and get finished, and I am glad that we are done. So we are going to take the rest of the afternoon off, enjoy the outside sunshine and the pool. So you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right, bye.